RTF Sports Talk.
I'm not really sure what happened.
If you came to groove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I'm the host of the show, Michael Buckheister. If you guys are watching us on YouTube today, go ahead and give us a like, comment, and subscribe to this fantastic sports talk show we got going on here. But I'm joined today with Billy Hatton. Billy, how you doing today?
Oh, a little under the weather. My girl gave me the freaking flu. Been having a headache, stuffy nose since yesterday, but hey, I'm here.
Hey, I love when you're playing injured, just like Aaron Rodgers is this week. And do you have Matthew Lyle with you today?
No, I don't.
All right, so it looks like we're flying solo, and there's nothing wrong with that because I enjoy us flying solo every now and then, Billy. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, since you're feeling a little under the weather, I'm feeling a little under the weather as well. Let's just go ahead and jump into this week's picks. The first game on the slate that I have that I hope I get in my area, but the Colts might trump it as always, which is ridiculous. But we got the Pittsburgh versus the Kansas City Chiefs, Billy. Ben Roethlisberger is supposed to start, so that's a big ups for Pittsburgh, but still no Le'Veon Bell. Who do you got in this game and why?
Before I start, I just want to say I hope I do get that Colts game because they are playing the Redskins today. So that means I actually finally get to see my brother play today. Again, it's kind of hard over here on this side of on the West Coast because we don't get a lot of the East Coast games. But without Le'Veon, and I think Big Ben is kind of nicked up and all that. I like the way Kansas City played in Week 1. I didn't think Patrick Mahomes would find, immediate chemistry, coming in, being his first start or his second start, but his first full-time gig. I like Kansas City. I like that defense. I'm hearing Eric Berry may not play today, but I think that defense makes up for it. I also think that they have enough scoring on offense. They did get Travis Kelce involved in the first week, which honestly hurt my fantasy team. I'm looking forward to him getting, more touches this game. I think he only had one catch on 3 targets last week. I'm looking for that to be, his role to be expanded, just like when Alex Smith was in the lineup. Kareem Hunt is going to be Kareem Hunt. Tyreek Hill is going to be Tyreek Hill. So, they are playing on the road today, but I'm looking for Pittsburgh, with a banged up Ben, no Le'Veon, James Conner, first, his second week. People are now keying in on him. I'm looking for Kansas City to win this game.
And I've been kind of going back and forth on this game, Billy. To be totally honest, as big as a Kansas City Chiefs fan I am, I picked them to lose last week versus the Chargers. Worst mistake of my life. I knew deep down that the Kansas City has that conference's number. They're 10-2 versus against them in the last 3 years. It was something crazy just like that. And I did not hear about the Eric Berry thing just until you said something. But Eric Berry is a gamer. If Eric Berry is 60%, he will be out there and he will play. Eric Berry brings a dynamic to that defense that it's kind of like what Sean Lee does to the Cowboys. They I
definitely agree.
Yeah, they elevate that play 100%. But that defense scares me. Yes, there is no Bell, and Bell exposed Kansas City Chiefs the last 2 times they have played him. It was ugly. And as much as I hate to say this, I think it's going to be much of the same. I think the Steelers are going to come out. They're going to expose that Kansas City defense, and it might get ugly again. So I'm going to have to go with the Steelers, unfortunately, on this one.
You know what, Mike? You got the case of I'm hoping that my team do good, so I'm just going to downplay them right now.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they play better than what they actually do, especially in week 1. Yeah, but no, I don't see how Kansas City messes up this game. Outside of playing on the road, yeah, Eric Berry is not there. They say he has a heel injury, a sore heel, which that could mean trouble down the line, especially he has had that torn Achilles. That's right. That's right up that alley. But I think that they have enough weapons on offense against a Pittsburgh defense who's not good at all.
Yeah, I mean,
that
this will definitely be an offensive game.
God awful. Yeah, exactly. That defense is god awful. And with both defenses being not as good as they once were, I'm going to go with the team that has the most offensive weapons. Outside of Big Ben and Antonio Brown, I mean, can we really count on Juju Smith-Schuster every single game? Can we count on James Conner every game?
No.
So to me, I'm just going to go with the guys that's been consistent. Patrick Mahomes looked to be like he's comfortable in that offense. So I'm going to go with, Tyreek Hill in the game.
Billy, I think you've convinced me.
Do
you think I could flip a pick?
You can flip the pick, definitely.
Man, I gotta go with Kansas City. Like, it hurts me so.
Yeah,
I
thought you tried to downplay. Try to downplay your team so you don't feel all that bad.
It hurts me so bad to pick against them. I ain't gonna lie.
That's why I hate playing fantasy football, because I be having to root for teams that I hate, just hoping that this guy do good.
Right.
But I'm right there with you. I know that situation.
Well, this is a situation that you're in this week as well as last week. Browns versus the Saints, or Browns at the Saints. I'm sorry. Who do you got on this one, and why?
Well, I got the Saints on this one. The turmoil that's going on with the Browns right now, they don't know if they're going to release Josh Gordon. They don't know if they're going to trade Josh Gordon. All I know is Josh Gordon's not going to be there playing on Sunday. They say he got hurt at a non-team photo shoot or promo shoot. That's how he messed up his hamstring. Then I hear he missed the team meeting. Tyrod Taylor looked terrible in week 1. The defense looked terrible in week 1 outside of Denzel Ward, the rookie cornerback out of Ohio State. And the Saints look, pretty good, except for their defense, which they don't have to worry about it because it didn't seem like the Browns had any offense in week 1. Plus 5 turnover battle, and we still tied the game. So I'm definitely going to go with the Saints on this one, especially playing at home. During the preseason, this was one of those games that I thought that we were going to lose, but if we had already got that week 1 win over Pittsburgh, if we had stunned them, we didn't stun Pittsburgh. And then now we got to go play the Saints at home, who just put up 48 points last week. I don't see how that changed anything for the Saints. Drew Brees is still there. Alvin Kamara is still there. Michael Thomas, they're going to be good. That Marshawn Lattimore on the defensive side, I'm looking for him to at least get one interception in this game. I got the Saints winning big in this game.
And I got to echo a lot of what you just said. The Browns are kind of like what the Steelers are right now. They are trying to get through these first 3 or 4 weeks to really see to really see what kind of team that they have. And I actually just got a breaking story on my ESPN app here. Shout out to ESPN. Thanks you guys for sending me breaking news in the middle of a show. I really appreciate that. But the Browns they say they are not going to cut Josh Gordon now. They are in talks with Dallas and 49ers right now to trade Josh Gordon.
Oh yeah, I got that same alert. I didn't even look at it. I seen something that came to my phone, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. So how true that is, because when a team puts out there that we are going to release this player, and then all of a sudden they say, whoa, we're going to trade this player, they aren't going to get anything for him. Maybe a 6th round pick, 7th round pick, and that's about it. So,
You know what I think though, Mike?
What's
I
that?
think what they was doing, I think they were just trying to put him out there as bait,
Right.
and saying that they're going to release him so they can start fielding calls. Yeah, they're not going to get much for him, but I think what they're looking at. If I'm John Dorsey, I'm looking at it as if, listen, we can't lose. He's too good of a talent. Like, we know how good he is.
Yes.
We cannot lose him
Yes.
for nothing. At least get something for him. And the two teams that they're saying, the Cowboys and the 49ers, they need a wide receiver just as bad as any team in the NFL. The Cowboys have no passing attack. They let Dez Bryant go. Jason Witten retired. They have nobody outside of Ezekiel Elliott, so what they're looking for, they're looking to get, a receiver that can stretch the field and take some of that pressure off Ezekiel Elliott. And the 49ers in the same way, they just paid Jimmy Garoppolo all of that money. They're looking
Trash.
to add to that. They, yeah, exactly. Their receiver core is not good. So they're looking to bolster up that. So it would make sense, to at least try to trade him, because at least you get something for him and you just don't lose him for nothing when he's still a big time talent.
All right, Billy. So let me, I don't want to get too far off topic of the game picks, but I really feel like this conversation warrants this, since it is the Browns, and this is kind of centered around them. Last week, Dez Bryant and Jerry Jones were seen at a Beyonce concert at Dallas Stadium. All the talk started saying, "Oh, Dez is coming back to the Cowboys," yada yada yada. Do you I highly doubt that has any smoke there, if that makes sense. Do you think the Browns want to trade Josh Brown or Josh Gordon to make room to bring Dez Bryant on to their team, just to get that dynamic playmaker that maybe Dez once was?
I mean, it would probably make sense if that's what they are doing. This would probably be one of the best moves, because I've been on record many times saying that Dez Bryant still have a lot left in the tank, and the reason why he wasn't as productive was because of Dak Prescott. So if what you just said, it makes a lot of sense. We're still having Josh Gordon contract on the books, and then you're trying to add Dez Bryant. Football, the salary cap is a little, it's a different. So that could actually make sense to pair him up with Jarvis Landry. I don't think that Dez Bryant will go back to the Cowboys, although him and Jerry Jones' relationship has always been good. It was just him and Stephen Jones, that had the riff. You remember when Dez Bryant put out the tweet?
Right.
He specifically labeled, Stephen Jones and Sean Lee and Dak Prescott. He never mentioned Jerry Jones at all. So I think him and Jerry Jones' relationship has always been solid. I don't see him going back to the Cowboys. I think that relationship is severed, especially when, one of the guys he was talking about is going to be one of the guys that's have to throw him the football. So yeah, I believe that they could be making room for Dez Bryant to slide right on in there. And
I really feel like Jerry Jones always lets players be players, i.e. Michael Irving, Deion Sanders, Leon Lett. He kind of let them be them, as long as they're not out there killing anybody, doing large amounts of cocaine.
Exactly.
Minus Leon Lett. but
that's true.
but I bet if Dez said, "Hey, Mr. Jones, I want to come back and be a Cowboy," he would sign his name on the dotted line within an hour. But
yeah, I think Jerry Jones can make that happen.
Yeah,
because he has a genuine relationship with Dez Bryant. He's been on record saying that's like one of his sons. And Dez Bryant being at a concert with him, I mean that just further proves that point. I just don't think Dez Bryant would do it just because of although he wanted to retire as a Cowboy. I think the relationships. They always say don't burn the bridge.
Right.
I think he burned the bridge with some of the players on that team, and I think that right now the Cowboys are so dysfunctional. They trying to get back into the playoff race, back in the spotlight of being America's team. I don't think they need a guy like Dez Bryant on their team right now to cause more confusion, So, yeah, I'm with you. I believe Jerry Jones will make that happen in a heartbeat, but I just think Dez Bryant wouldn't go for that.
Okay, well, let's move right along. We will be talking about America's team here in like a little while about that Sunday night game. But speaking of playing injured here, Vikings versus Packers. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to play, but like I said, thank you to ESPN for sending me alert updates. He does have a nagging injury that they said, quote, should take 2 months to heal. So whether that's a torn MCL or meniscus or something to that effect, they're keeping it close to the vest so people don't know what it is, basically. So who do you got? Vikings versus Packers.
I got the Vikings, and for two reasons. And the first reason being that Aaron Rodgers the first reason is that I picked them to win that division. So if I picked them to win that division, they have to win. You know, they have to win this game here to get a leg up on that division, especially with the Packers beating the Bears last week. You know, the Packers is already in the driver's seat already. So they have to beat the Packers. That's number one. Number two, we don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to be. Yeah, he came back last week and played fantastic. But I've done a lot of things that people thought that shouldn't have happened when I got adrenaline. And I thought, you know, he was running off full adrenaline last week.
100%.
Week one, he's ready to get back out there. It's just a little bit different now that he's had all week, you know, to let that pain sit in. You know, so I think he's hobbled enough, and he's playing against arguably the best defense in NFL. Which they were last year. They were the best defense in NFL last year. I don't see how that stops. You know, that front seven with Griffin, you know, and they got Barr and then Rhodes and Harrison Smith. I think that they're going to come after him. They're going to do what the Bears should have did last year, which is put pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They are going to be sending blitz. That's what they like. They like that double A gap blitz. They're sending two linebackers right up the A gap. So I think that the Vikings, this is prime for the Vikings to win this game, even though they're playing on the road. I think this is a game to show people that they are good. You know, Kirk Cousins played, you know, amazing last week. You know, he played about as good as you would want your quarterback to play after giving him all of that money. You know, I like Stephon Diggs and Thielen. I like the boys. So, you know, I think the Vikings come out with a win in this game.
So I'm going to echo everything you just said about Aaron Rodgers. He is playing off adrenaline. They are at home, etc. You know, the Vikings blitzed that double A gap. This all plays into Aaron Rodgers' hands. He is at home. If they're playing at Minnesota, he probably may not play this week because the adrenaline may not be there. Okay,
I agree.
It is something about being at home at Lambeau Field, playing against a team that knocked you out last year. Aaron Rodgers wants revenge on this Vikings team. And when they send that double A blitz gaps, they're going to check to that hot route, and Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers does and get the ball out in 2.5 seconds to that slant route for 10 to 12 yards every time.
I definitely agree.
And,
I definitely agree. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks.
And I believe I saw a stat, he has the fastest release from catching it to releasing it in the NFL in the last 10 to 12 years. I do believe. I'm not 100% sure what the stats were, but he was the fastest at 2.5 seconds. So no matter how many people you bring at Aaron Rodgers, you might hit him late, but he is going to get the ball out. He's going to complete that pass for 10 to 12 yards 5 to 6 times. And then at that point, that blitz, this is exactly what's going to happen to the Bears. They're going to have to stop bringing that blitz. They're going to have to drop people back in coverage. And when you give Aaron Rodgers a little bit of time, 5 or 6 seconds, those DBs are having to cover those receivers for 5 or 6 seconds. They're going to get tired. Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers does, and they're going to beat the Vikings this week.
But I will say this, Mike. They aren't playing the Bears this weekend. You know, the Vikings have way better cornerbacks. They have better cornerback play
right.
than the Bears do. You know, Xavier Rhodes from the great Florida State University was a first-team All-Pro last year. You know, he's shown the ability to be able to cover. Trey Waynes, the guy that they got out of Michigan, he's a great young talent. He's really good in man-to-man coverage. So I think this week, playing the Bears, I think the Bears' best cover guy is Fuller, and he's okay. He's a decent cornerback, but I don't think he's Trey Waynes, and I don't think he's a Xavier Rhodes. I think Harrison Smith is better than any safety that the Bears got, and that's and you said a thing that I definitely agree with. He will get the ball out fast, and they won't have much time to hit him while he still have the ball. But he is hurt, and all it takes is to get hit a few times, even after you throwing the ball, to see how tough he really is, to see how many times he keeps getting up, because that's the key. The key is to keep hitting him. My Seminoles played yesterday, and we got probably the worst offensive line that I ever seen any man play. And if you look at DeAndre Francois' demeanor, he didn't really get sacked that many times, but every time he dropped back the pass, he's getting hit right under his chin. How many times is it going to take for Aaron Rodgers, to get hit up underneath his chin with Anthony Barr and the boys coming right down the pipe at him, and he's hobbled on a bad knee. He's not going to be able to move as good as he usually do. I think that's going to be the difference in this game, Aaron Rodgers being hurt. If he was healthy, I think I would probably go with the Packers, even though I picked the Vikings to win the division. I just think week 2, he's coming off that injury. I think this is, prime time for the Vikings to show what they're worth in this league. I think they get to Aaron Rodgers. I think they get at least 3 or 4 sacks today.
And let me answer those questions for you real fast. You asked how many times can Aaron Rodgers get hit and get back up. It depends if they're winning or not. If they are winning, he will get back up every time. If it's a 14, 17-point losing effort, he may call off the dogs. So, it is all about
I agree with that too.
How the game situation is happening.
Yeah, the percentages of winning.
Right. And then also to answer your cornerback question, I have to agree with you 100% on this. Vikings do have superior corners, even though that guy is from Florida State, the same Florida State that went 0-8 on third down conversions since the third quarter last.
0 for 9, Mike. Get it right.
0 for 9. But
yes.
Yes, I do have to give you that point there, that the Vikings cornerbacks are better than the Bears cornerbacks, hands down. But I think
against a basketball school like that, Mike.
Right. We can talk about that Tuesday if you like.
Oh no, definitely no.
Okay.
Stand away from that.
But I think the Bears have a better front seven than the Vikings do. Mac brings a dynamic to the Bears that the Vikings do not have. They have a playmaker ability that, yes, he was only there for a half a ball, but that half a ball is what hurt Aaron Rodgers. So I think it's going to even out in the end. Packers on top. So moving on to, I feel like, is probably the game of the week, the most hyped about game, Jags versus Patriots. Who do you got?
Jags are playing at home. I got the New England Patriots winning this game. I just do not think that the Jacksonville Jaguars, like I say, I've been in Florida just about my whole life. I've seen this movie. I just don't think that they are ready yet. Do I think that defense is big time? I think they are. That secondary, that front. Now their front seven is about as good as I've ever seen. With Calais Campbell, and then Telvin Smith, Jack. You got Ramsey and Bouye and Church. I think those guys on the defensive side of the ball is every bit as good as advertised. But I know they say defense wins championships, but sometimes you got to score some points, and I don't think that they score enough points, especially against the Patriots defense, who's always right up at the top. They don't really get talked about a lot, but, the Patriots defense is always one of the best defenses in the league, and they just recycle players in and out. I think with Tom Brady, I think Gronkowski is going to have a better game than he did in the AFC Championship game where he only had one catch, before he got knocked out with the concussion. Jalen Ramsey has been talking, some big-time stuff this week. He even said that he don't think that Gronkowski is as good as people say he is. I think Gronk is every bit as good as advertised. I think he got something like 77 career touchdowns as a tight end, and he's only played, I believe, 2 full seasons since he's been in the NFL. That's nuts. That's crazy. I'm going with the Patriots to win this game, even on the road. I picked the Patriots to be in the Super Bowl. I don't think they get there without going 2-0 right now.
And I had to echo what you said. I'm picking the Patriots as well, but this game is going to be won in the second quarter. Is Jalen Ramsey going to get in the head of Gronk, and is Gronk going to lose his cool and power bomb him or punch him and get ejected? Like we talked about this about a month ago. Like this is how you beat the Pats is you get in Gronk's head and you get him out of the game. Simple as that. Does Jalen Ramsey do this week? I think he gets in his head, but I think Tom Brady calms Gronk down. They do their thing. Patriots win handily.
Especially early in the season, I think he'll be able to control himself. It really won't be that many emotions because nothing is really on the line here. It's week 2.
Yes.
Plus, Mike, Leonard Fournette has been ruled out of the game with that hamstring injury. So now they're going to have to depend on T.J. Yeldon.
Who?
I don't think he's T.J. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think that he's going to be that thing that Blake Bortles need. Leonard Fournette is his safe blanket. I can give Leonard Fournette the ball. He can give me 7-8 yards and carry, kind of, get us in third and manageable, second and manageable. With TJ Yeldon, they're just going to be pinning their ears back, coming right at Bortles. So, yeah, I think for all those reasons, I think the Patriots win this game easy.
And I have to even more solidify that Patriots win just because of Leonard Fournette being out. Sunday night game. The Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. Let me start on this one, Billy.
Go ahead, Mike.
I got some facts here. The team in the NFC East that has started 0-2 in the last 10 years has not made the playoffs. They have not even been in the playoff hunt, per se. A game out, 2 games out with 2-3 weeks left. Since I picked Dallas Cowboys to win that division, make it to the conference championship game, they have to win. This is a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. That's why I have Dallas Cowboys coming out and dominating the Giants tonight. Your thoughts?
And they're playing at home. I can see that happening, Mike. I almost picked the Dallas Cowboys to win this game, but I didn't. For the same reason that you're not picking the New York Giants. My pick to win the NFC East was the New York Football Giants. And like you just said, no team 0-2 in that division has been in the playoff race. Well, if they start 0-2, I think all bets are off.
Yes.
So they have to win this game. They're in that same situation as Dallas. This is a must-win game for them right now, especially with the Redskins looking as good as they are, and they're playing the Colts today. I think that's a winnable game for the Redskins. So the Redskins will be 2-0.
Yes.
I think the New York Giants get it right. I think, even the first week, I thought that they had the tools to win. They were just playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and, that's a way better defense than the Dallas Cowboys. When they let Odell catch, 11 passes for 100 and some yards, I think he scores. He didn't get in the end zone last week, but I think he gets in the end zone this week. And, there was some news came out this week. Landon Collins was saying that all they have to do is stop the run, stop Ezekiel Elliott, and make Dak Prescott throw the ball. And, I've been echoing those sentiments since Dak Prescott came into the league. When Ezekiel Elliott don't get over 100 yards, that offense struggled, and they normally lose the game because, you cannot depend on Dak Prescott to drop back and throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. That's not who he is. That's not who he was at Mississippi State. And, that trend is going to continue, especially with no offensive weapons outside of Ezekiel Elliott. So I think, the New York Giants win this game. I think it's going to be a close one at Jerry World, but I think in order for my NFC East pick to stay ahead and, have a chance at going to the playoffs, I think that they have to win. I think they have to win tonight, and I think they get it done in a close one.
And just to throw some more stats at you, Dallas Cowboys are horrible at home. They are a 500 team since the new Dallas Stadium has been, or the new Texas Stadium has been built. The Giants have lost their one time since that stadium has been built. So everything's
they have their number. definitely have their number there.
Everything is playing into the Giants' favor. This Sunday night game, but Dallas Cowboys under the lights in Dallas, Sunday night football. They're going to feed the man and let Elliott run all night. 30 carries, $145 on yards. Give the man the ball.
They're definitely going to give it to him. They're definitely going to give it to him. They're going to feed him.
If they don't, they'll get killed.
Yeah, they're definitely going to feed Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's the recipe for success. And then, another thing is that offensive line is still,
a little banged up.
It's still kind of banged up.
Yep.
Will they be able to protect Dak Prescott? Will they be able to open up enough holes for Ezekiel Elliott? I know last week they didn't against the Carolina defense, which is, obviously better than the Giants defense, but not by much, So will they be able to open up enough holes for him? And will they be able to stop Odell Beckham? I think those are the two storylines in this game. What will Ezekiel Elliott do, and how will they be able to contain Odell Beckham? And if they be able to contain Odell Beckham, I think they got a pretty good shot at winning this game.
And only time will tell. I believe it's a 8:20 kickoff Eastern time on NBC. So
yes,
Monday Night Football here. Bears versus Seahawks. Kind of a weird matchup in my eyes. I'm like, when I think of Monday Night Football, I don't think Bears and Seahawks. But Billy, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mike. When I first seen the list that you sent out, and I seen they were playing on Monday night, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This team, like this is not really even a sight matchup.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan either. But I think they are playing the Bears, and I definitely do not trust Mitchell Trubisky at all. So I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks on this one, even though they're playing on the road. I think the Seahawks will get it done. The one problem is no Doug Baldwin. So who is Russell Wilson's target going to be? I believe Khalil Mack is big time. I've said this many a times. Khalil Mack is big time. Khalil Mack individual stats is going to be off the charts. First defensive player ever to be all pro at linebacker and defensive end. He got all the accolades, but he doesn't account for that whole defense. He's only one man, and while I believe he will have a good game, he's going to have his hands full trying to catch Russell Wilson. One of the most slipperiest quarterbacks in the NFL. When he gets out of the pocket or even in the pocket, he avoids some, like, how did he do that type sacks, going in the pocket, and he can extend plays. He's one of the best, outside of Aaron Rodgers, and back when Tony Romo was playing at extending the play, I think that's what's going to be the key in this game. Russell Wilson over Mitchell Trubisky. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm picking, a guy that I really don't believe in over a guy that I definitely don't believe in. So I'm going with the Seahawks on this one.
So I've been kind of going back and forth on this all week since about Thursday after that Ravens-Cincinnati game. I've been kind of going back. I'm like, well, it is at Chicago. It is Monday night game, but it's not late in the year, so they really don't have that wind advantage or the cold weather advantage. It's going to be a nice, 65 degrees, 70 degree night, maybe a little bit of wind, not a whole lot. But then you have Baldwin out for the Seahawks, and then I'm kind of, well, then maybe it weighs back over to the Bears a little bit. But then I watched that Bears-Packers game again. It was on the NFL replay for those of you that have the NFL channel. And then I saw Mac basically give up in the second half. Like either he was tired or he's like thrown in the towel, whatever. So then it goes back to the Seahawks. But then I'm just like, well, shoot, I got to make a pick. So I think the Chicago Bears, Monday Night Football, their first Monday Night Football game in as long as I can remember, because usually they only put two decent match teams on there, so this game just baffles me to no end. But I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bears, and I think Mac is going to have a huge game. He is going to wind it back in the first quarter, save it for the second, third, and fourth. So that first quarter, the Seahawks might jump out a little early, 7-0, maybe 10-0 tops. But then the Bears are going to reel them in. Mac is going to show his ugly head, and the defense is going to win the game for the Bears. So the Bears.
I also think that Khalil Mack is going to have a good game. I just don't know what the rest of that defense is going to do, and I just do not know what Mitchell Trubisky is going to do.
Yeah, he scares
especially
me.
if they get down early. Yeah, if they get down early, and now you're banking on Mitchell Trubisky to do something great for you. I think that's where they can get in a ton of trouble. He had 8 opportunities to win that game last week against the Packers, with that penalty on Clay Matthews, and they still could not get it done because he holds on to the ball way too long. Mac is going to have a good game because the Seahawks offensive line is not great. They've been piecing stuff together ever since, 2 years ago, since they broke up the band. So I think Mac could definitely have a field day, but if the Seahawks jump out to an early lead, what is Mitchell Trubisky going to do? That's really the main question. Do you trust Mitchell Trubisky? And I don't. Being at home, I can see why you picked him because I almost picked him. I almost said, they're playing at home. I think they're going to be excited, but I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, I am with you on the whole Mitchell Trubisky thing. I don't know how he has a job in the NFL, let alone a starting job.
Especially a first round. I don't know how he did it.
It could be a process of elimination. Sorry about that. Because I believe the only other quarterback that the Bears have is Chase Daniels, I believe, from Missouri. And
Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniel has been jumping around the league. Like he was on Kansas City for like a little while, and then he went to
on the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints, and then I want to say he was with Miami for a little while, but I'm not for sure. I mean, he's been bouncing around so much that even if Mitchell does struggle, say he throws 3 or 4 interceptions, they're down 21-0, they can't go to their backup for like a spark. I mean, so
definitely not.
I mean, it is Mitchell's team. It's Mitchell's games to win, but I'm going to have to ride with them, and I'm going to go with the Bears 100%. So, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm ready to see. Like I said, hopefully I get to see the Redskins game today. Hopefully get to see it. I know the Cowboys always going to be on my TV. Being over here in Texas,
they're the primetime game.
They're the Sunday night game, so we have no choice tonight. But every time, they're always the game of the week. You look, the Cowboys is the game of the week.
Anytime they're the 4 o'clock game, they'll be the game of the week. So
for sure, they're definitely gonna. But I'm just hoping to see some good football. Hopefully, all of my picks come up. Mike, last week I was up in my fantasy league by 40 points, and then Doug Baldwin went out, and then I lost the whole week. I was on pace to get 200 points, and Doug Baldwin got hurt, and everything went to thing. Another thing I want to point out, Mike, is Julio Jones not getting into the end zone again. After having a monster game. He just does not score enough touchdowns for me to be the best receiver in the NFL. I can't. I don't understand how. It seemed like he have those monster games, 200-yard receiving, 150 yards receiving, and he does not get in the end zone. You have to get in the end zone when you're 6'5" and you run a 4.3.
Well, let me stop you on this. Like, do you think that's possibly play calling from the coach? Because the coach is spreading the offense out and getting him those 200 yards, but when they get into 5, I feel like they're just trying to pound the ball in there. Like usually, they don't go for that fade route to the pylon and just give him a jump ball from the games that like I've seen and watched.
Yeah, I think play calling is definitely a part of it, but I think that also I think it says more about Julio Jones than it does the play calling, because here you have smaller receivers like Antonio Brown, who every time, the Steelers get in the red zone, even with Le'Veon Bell, they at least give him a try, So I think it actually says more about Julio Jones that his offensive coordinator do not have, the the confidence in him to make those plays. And he's had 2 or 3 different coordinators. Mike Shanahan, he didn't really do it. Now they got Steve Sarkisian, he's not doing it. So it got to be something with Julio Jones, because every other top receiver, and I came on here after that Thursday night game last weekend, and I said he has to be in the game on the goal line. Yeah. I don't care what's going on, and then we seen it in the Giants game last week against the Jaguars. Odell Beckham was out for 1 play, and what do you see Odell Beckham do on second down? He's coming right back in the game after a long pass. So, to me, I think it's just Julio don't have that in him, and he drops a lot of passes. So I think, they just feel more comfortable going with Freeman and Coleman, down in the goal line, because Julio Jones really hasn't been reliable. Him and Matt Ryan, I believe, is like 3 of 15 in the red zone over the past 2 seasons. That's absolutely horrible, for a guy that's 6'5", that supposedly can jump out of the gym. That's pathetic for a number 1 receiver. I haven't seen number 1 receivers play the way that this guy has, and between the goal lines and the touchdowns, he's absolutely amazing. He cannot be stopped. He catches everything. He get in the red zone, and yet like he don't know how to play football anymore. I honestly don't know what it is with him.
Do you think it's a mental thing, or do you think he just needs to be like, hey, give me the ball? Like, he needs to be more egotistic and say, hey, give me the ball in the end zone, or do you think he just doesn't have that killer instinct to be that type of person, like a Des Bryant, that says, hey, give me the ball?
I think it's the last 2 things that you said. I don't think he has that in him. And 2, he's already been out on records and, saying like, yeah, they don't have to force me the ball down there, and I haven't seen that out of number 1 receiver. Yeah, you say, yeah, don't force me the ball, but throw me the ball. I don't think that he demands the ball. And for a guy of his caliber, I think that he should be demanding the ball, especially on the goal line. Give me a chance. I'm you guys' best option. I'm Julio Jones. Pro Bowler every single year. He's talked about as the best receiver in the NFL by a lot of people. Well, show it to people. Demand the ball, especially in the goal line when sometimes they don't have single coverage. I don't want to see Julio Jones missing a whole goal line series with not even stepping in the game 1 single play. At least be a decoy or something. I don't want to see what I've seen in week 1. So yeah, I just don't think he has that dog in him. I don't think he has that in him to say, yeah, throw me the ball. We'll see.
And you guys, that is Billy Hatton from Unpopular Opinion. He talks like this just like this on his podcast Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So be sure to follow him on any podcast, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker. What am I missing, Billy? What other ones are? Public Radio.
Radio Public, Anchor, podcasting.
And Billy, you are pretty active on Twitter. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. I do most of my tweeting on Twitter about the games. After every show, I post the shows up there. Both this show that we do here and my podcast, both all goes on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow me there at Grand Jefe. That's GRANXJEFE.
And that is in the description below of the video here. So be sure to follow Billy on Twitter. Definitely tweet back at him and have a engaging conversation. Don't be hateful by any means, but definitely have an engaging conversation. Like I said, as always, thank you guys for joining us. We are live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 9:45 a.m. on the East Coast. Sundays are mainly dealt towards the NFL because Billy doesn't like to talk about how bad his Florida State team's doing.
Oh my God, Mike! I was going off yesterday on Twitter. I was literally going off yesterday on Twitter. Lord have mercy.
Give people an example of what you were saying.
Mike, listen to me, man. I called my dad last night, and I just don't understand. It seemed like every time Francois dropped back to pass, right tackle whiffs on the block, not even close. Yep. Next play, left tackle whiffs on the block. I mean, not even close. Next play, the center get called for a holding. We drop like if you look at Francois' face, he's scared to even go back there. We were 0 for 9 to start the game on third down. 9 straight 3-and-outs. 9 straight 3-and-outs. We didn't get our first down until 3 hours into the game. Not to mention, we didn't score. We scored 1 touchdown yesterday against a basketball school, Mike, a basketball school in Syracuse, who has not beaten us since 1966. We also had 1 touchdown with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which was our very first touchdown against a D1 FBS school all season. How are you Florida State and you don't have 1 touchdown against an FBS school? And it's not like we played juggernaut so far. We played Virginia Tech. Like, and you telling me we couldn't score against Virginia Tech, and then it take us 6 minutes into the first half 6 minutes into the fourth quarter to finally score? Taggart offense has got to go. I don't understand what's going on. The offensive line can't block anybody. We got all these 4-star recruits, 4 or 5-star recruits on the offensive line, and they can't protect the quarterback. It baffles me, honestly, like how we went from winning the national championship in 2013 to literally scraping by against Sanford and losing to Syracuse. This is unbelievable, And Willie Taggart, I'm telling you right now, they're only going to give him 1 more season, and he's gone. Down there in Florida State, they are not doing this, especially if we lose to Miami this year or we lose to Florida. All bets are off. They're going to give him 1 more year to get his recruiting class in there. But this offense, throwing the ball 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that's never been Florida State offense. So he's definitely going to have to do something about this. I'm sure Oregon fans is really happy that he's down in Tallahassee instead of in Eugene, because they probably was like, thank you God that he chose to go somewhere else.
Right. Well,
I'm disappointed, Mike. It gets to the point I can't even get mad sometimes because like we're playing so awful. I don't even know what to say.
Billy, I've been in your same shoes. As a Kansas State fan, once football season ends and basketball rolls around, I go through that same thing. How can we have all these good recruits, all this coaching, and we're a 500 team? Like, I get it. I understand.
Mike, we may not even win another game. We may not win another game all year. The schedule don't get no easier. We still have to play Notre Dame. We still have to play Miami. We still have to play Clemson. I don't see how this schedule. I don't see how this schedule works for us to win another game.
You guys will definitely win one. Definitely win one.
Mike,
maybe 2.
If we can't beat Syracuse and we struggle against Sanford, how can I trust that? The offensive line couldn't block me or you, Mike. It's that bad. Every time Francois dropped back, he's getting hit right under the chin every single time. I don't understand that. I don't see how. Defense can't cover anybody, and I like Harlan Burnett because I like what he did at Michigan State as a defensive coordinator. Yeah. But our covers can't cover anybody. Levante Taylor gets beat every other play. I don't know what's going on.
Well, only time will tell. But I was watching the Notre Dame Indiana game. Notre Dame does not look as dominant as an 8th-ranked team should. So I really feel like they might slip up against them, and that might be your 1 win for the year. And it might.
I sure hope so.
And it would probably save your coach's job because he did beat a top-ranked team. But who knows? But as always, guys, thank you for joining us on RTF Sports Talk. We'll see you guys on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. Have a good day.
All right, see you guys.
Go KC.